Hi, and thanks for joining me today on this audio blind coaching session to help you work out what it is you want when all you know is what you don't want. So, first of all, I work with lots of women who know what they don't want, but they haven't worked out what it is they do want. And actually, that's why I've designed this, especially to help women like you work that out. Because if you don't know what you want, you can't make it happen. Often there are huge clues in those things that we don't want. So I'm going to take you through some coaching to help you work through it. You're going to need a pen and a notebook because you're going to be doing some writing, and make sure you've got a few pages. And a bit of a tip, I like to write on alternate lines so it saves some space if you want to go back and edit what you've done later, so do that if you can. So the best way to do this is to pause this recording after each question so you can write the answers down at your own pace, and I'm going to prompt you to do that as we go through this process today. The final point to make really is, please don't overthink this. I think we can tie ourselves in knots trying to make things perfect, and we can be so scared of getting it wrong that we don't actually dare do anything in the first place. So I just want you to remember, there's no right and there's no wrong. Go with your first answer, go with your gut instinct. If you catch yourself overthinking it, notice it and move on to the next question. Okay, so we're going to start today by writing a list of the things that you don't want. Now, I want you to be really specific about these things. So, for example, it's not, I don't want my job. It's actually the things within that you don't want. So, it might be that you don't want to travel to an office every day, or that you don't want to be part of a big team. So, start your list now. What I want you to do is write a list of the things that you don't want, give each of them a number, so number them now so we can cross-reference them later. And get all of those things down on paper that you don't want. So remember, be as specific as you can with this. So hit pause now and then unpause me when you're done. So welcome back. The first thing I want to say now is I want you to take a deep breath in and stop for a moment to reflect on how you feel after getting that list down on paper. Often we try and push away thoughts that we don't want, almost as if kind of letting ourselves think about them is going to hurt us in some way. But actually it's really important that we do that to feel what we need to feel to help us move on from it. Usually the things that we don't want are the things that we think will make us feel bad, either from experience or from fear. So have a moment with it, take some deep breaths. And once you've done that, what I want you to do is I want you to put me on pause again. I want you to put a song on that is upbeat, that is uplifting, and I want you to stand up, shake it off, sing along to it, have a bit of a dance if you want. So please go and do that now and then come back, and trust me, it will help your state. Okay, so welcome back again. So I really hope you did that because I think it does make a difference when we're going through an exercise like a coaching exercise, if you're in the right state of mind and the right physical state. And so if you've not gone and had a dance and been energized or listened to some energizing music, then go and do that now, please. So it's time to tackle the things that you don't want and convert them into the things that you do want. So start a new sheet of paper, and what I actually want you to write the number of your first don't want item. And what I want you to do with this one is I want you to write down the opposite of what you've written under what you don't want, in however many alternatives you can think of. So if what you've written you don't want is a long commute, then actually your alternatives or your opposite alternatives of that could be actually a short commute, no commute, working from home, an occasional commute. So I want you to take some time to think about all of the different alternatives, and don't rule anything out at this stage, just get everything down on paper. So what you're doing is, for each of the numbered items that you've got that you don't want, you are then writing a list of the possible alternative opposites. So put me on pause now and start that. Okay, so I hope you've got some alternatives down now. Now it's time to get really specific and work out from all of those alternative opposites what it is you do want and write that down in a sentence. So, using the same example we've just had about a commute, you might have looked at all of those. What you don't want is a long commute. What your possible alternatives are a short commute, no commute, working from home, an occasional commute, and actually get really specific about what it is you want. So this is where you decide. This is where you think about what it is you want and you decide. And again, it's not set in stone. It doesn't mean that you need to stick with this forever and a day, but get it down now based on how you're feeling at the moment and what you think right now. So as an example for this commute example, you might want to say, I want a commute of less than 15 minutes each way. So what I want you to do is put me on pause again, and I want you to, for each of those numbers, write down a sentence that specifically says this is what you want. Okay, so welcome back. How did you find that? What you should have now is a list of the things that you want, and that's really important to you because it's going to become the benchmark for decisions about your future. Being clear about what you want is the first step in getting it. So congratulate yourself on working through this process, and all progress in the right direction is positive. Getting really clear about what's important and what you want to do helps to process it in your brain and get your conscious and your subconscious working towards it. What I want you to do now is I want you to start a new page because the process has been a bit messy and I'm sure that there's a bit of scribbling around going on. I want you to start a new page again. And I want you to give it the title, What I Want, or My Goals, or, these things are important to me. And I want you to list them all down so they're together in one place. So pause this again and do that now. Okay, so now you've done that, I want you to take a minute to appreciate what you've just done. You've now got a list that you can put somewhere you're going to see regularly. And each time you do, I want you to think about what life will be like when you've got all of those things that you want. So visualise yourself with the short commute, or walking to work through the park, or at your kids' sports day, whatever it is you've put down there that's important to you. And actually feel how good you'll feel when you're there and when you're doing it. It's really important that you believe it's possible for you. And actually, it is. What I want you to do now is think about one action that you can take to move you towards your list. Now, it doesn't need to be a big action, just one thing that you could try. Because progress and success come from trying and failing, rather than not trying or only trying if you'll succeed. So I just want you to think of one action you can take. And just pause while you write that down. Okay, so now you've written it down, it's really important that you add when you're going to do it. And I'm not looking for, I'll do it next week. I'm actually looking for something really specific. I'm going to do this action next Thursday at 2:00. So decide when you're going to do it and schedule it into your calendar and make it happen. So, to just do a bit of a recap, you've looked at what you don't want, you've worked out your possible alternatives, and then you decided what you do want. You've written a list of those things in one place that you're going to put somewhere to keep you on track and focused, and you've decided on one action you're going to take to move you closer to where you want to be. Now, you don't need to stop at one action. Actually, if you're really motivated and there's a number of actions that you're thinking about that you could take now, you absolutely go and do that. You don't need to stop at one action. So it's an absolute bonus if there's more things that you're going to do. So write them down, schedule them in. I hope you found this useful. I want to finish now by getting you to close your eyes and take a minute to imagine you've achieved each of those things on your list. And think about how it feels. Remember, you've got this. Keep going. Thanks for listening.